can we call her a mean girl? Because that's sort of what she is. Kamala Harris, ladies and gentlemen, she's a mean girl. She's kind of a bully. I mean, here's this guy who, by the way, got shot at. He's like taking bullets, right, for democracy. He's willing to get sued and sued and sued again. They're trying to charge him nearly $500 million, right, in that one bail bond. It's sort of surreal. And then she piles on him. And, you know, he had been instructed, go easy, go easy. This is a woman. You can't really go for the jugular in the same way. Oh, but she went there. She went there just like she did with Biden. Remember that? That didn't pan out so well for her. Now, did it? Guess what happened in New Hampshire, my home state? I mean, she got less than 1%. She pulled at the very, very bottom right after that debate because nobody liked it. They didn't like her. So they don't like her. They don't trust her. Great. You want to say you won the debate? He disagrees with that, by the way, but go for it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. A lot of people turned it off. A lot of people just couldn't take the bias coming from the moderators who seem to forget that they're not actually the ones running for president against Donald Trump. I mean, the lies were excessive. The lies were extraordinary. Kamala Harris embracing all of her meanness, saying wild stuff like this that went totally unchecked.
And dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. If Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
And the bloodbath, you were talking about the economy. It's a term that's used.
Okay. So that was an excerpt from Donald Trump. We're going to get back to that in a moment. On Fox, they played that clip for him, and he had a lot to say. So again, we'll go back to that. But I just want to point out, we're talking mean girl on steroids. I mean, look at that. Lie after lie after lie after lie. Completely uncorrected. Like, she's just able to just fluently have these things spouting out of her mouth, one after another, and nobody says boo. I mean, Snopes, for goodness sakes. They corrected that whole Charlottesville thing. I mean, that's been corrected. Everything's been corrected. She wants to blame Donald Trump for the inflation. He gave her 1.7%. She drove it north of 9%, but somehow inflation is his problem. I mean, she got after him at one point on China, saying that, you know, he was too liberal with China. Wait a second. Wasn't this the guy that was like going to send us into who knows what because he was too strong on China? I mean, which is it, guys? Kamala Harris, proved who she really is. Not a very nice person there on stage, who's willing to distract with a whole bunch of emotional, sensitive sort of button issues, right? Let me try and get them worked up. Let me get the audience worked up. Let me not answer any single question. They ask a question and it's like, boom, it goes right by her. She's not very bright. I've said this before. I mean, she failed the bar exam. She didn't go to exactly, you know, a top-notch law school either. I think it's ranked like 86 in the country, and she couldn't pass the bar exam, okay? She's never actually really won an election. I mean, you can debate whether or not she really won the Senate thing because there was some candidate that they propped up that really wasn't the establishment candidate in any way. I mean, she was sort of anointed, if you would, for that one. She couldn't get to 1% in New Hampshire, and then suddenly she's the VP for Biden. Trump was right. He can't stand her. Biden has no use for her, nor does Dr. Jill Biden, understandably under the circumstances, right? Because she's not a very nice person. What did she do? She took it right out from under him. She's not a nice person. I never would have trusted her if I were Joe Biden after the debate debacle in 2020, when she accused him of all kinds of things. We won't even go there, but remember the busing thing? I was one of those little girls. Oh, that was something. That was something to see. And actually, it sent her super low. So I have a prediction for you. America is going to wake up to the meanness, and they're going to say, no, thank you. I got somebody who actually is willing to put himself in harm's way to save our country. What are you willing to do? You want to open the borders. You want to give out handouts to everyone, thereby driving inflation even higher. And you're willing to get us into conflicts overseas that we don't believe you really understand. Last person in the room, Kamala Harris. Yeah, she's not a very nice person. This may explain why only, according to Axios, only 5 people that she originally started with as staffers some 5 years ago are still working for her. The staff, they're all fleeing left and right, even though she could be the next president of the United States. Why would that be? Because she's not very nice to work for. She's not very bright. She argues well enough from an emotional standpoint. I mean, think about this for just 1 second, right? If you're in an argument with someone and you're actually a smart, thoughtful person trying to provide logical comebacks, right, to try and advance something and win your point of view, you don't just constantly, I mean, what do you do if you get somebody who's twisting and turning and just like an emotional mess? That may sound sexist. I don't mean it to sound sexist. I think she's quite vicious. I think she is a mean girl. And I think she wants to destroy Donald Trump. I don't know what she wants for this country. I don't think she knows what she wants for this country. Kamala Harris is only about one thing, and that's Kamala. And so that should give everyone pause. Every single one of us.